Hello, this is Alir Rank from Nile Quantum Insights. Today we are going to pick up from where we stopped last time on our tutorial on getting started in Polus Python library. This is going to be part 2, and we are analyzing the US hospital general information. These general informations are part of the CMS program, or actually programs that it uses to gauge hospitals' quality of care. So we will look at the distribution of star ratings by states and hospital. And then after that, we will look at other metrics. So this is some cleanup that I have done. What I have done here is just rename the data sets, and then we are bringing in the raw data that we have imported. Here I'm using the renamed method to convert column names to lower cases, replace spaces between names with underscores, and replace forward slash. There are some column names that are separated by forward slash. For example, either it is a city or a town. So we are going to replace that forward slash with an underscore. After that, we are using the with underscore columns, which is like mutate function in dplyr. And here what we are trying to do is we are trying to convert all the string column values to title case. So there is a polus dot or dot select selectors. So we are using that. We have imported it last time as CS, and we are saying CS, and it has all these methods on it, or attributes that we can call actual methods. So we are calling strings to pull out only the column values or columns with string values in them. And then we are doing the dot str dot to title case. After that, we are selecting columns of interest because there are a lot of columns that were not necessary. And last time we learned how to different ways of selecting or working with columns. Polus selectors allow us to, or give us flexibility to work with columns. So we saw that last time. I'm not going to repeat it here, but in this section or this part of the tutorial, we are selecting column by their names. And then after that, we are selecting all the columns that have the word count in them. And we are using the dot exclude method to exclude county underscore parish. So parish, county underscore parish was one of the columns that was separated by forward slash. So it was county forward slash parish. And we converted that as we saw in the prior or the previous step. And then we are taking all these columns, excuse me. So these columns with count in them are the numeric columns. So although they are numeric columns, they came out as string columns because they contain not available in them, and Polus treated them or kind of guessed their data type as string because of that string piece. So we are using the dot cast, and we are saying PL, which is Polus dot integer 64. And there's an option here, restrict. It is by default, it is set to true. But if we do that, we're going to get an error. So we set it to false. And that is going to allow us to convert all these columns to integers and convert not available to null. After that, we are calling the rename column again. And although this is a little bit redundant, then the purpose of this tutorial is to show you all the tricks of Polars on how to deal with different pieces of your data, especially working with columns. So here, the count underscore of underscore is not necessary in the column name. So we are going to remove that. So some columns start with count of, others end with underscore count. So to remove, we want to remove both of these. So first we remove count underscore of underscore on the left side, and then chain on another dot replace method or call, and then remove the underscore count on the right side and replace those with just blank spaces. And now again we renamed column. There we were just selecting columns. Here we are renaming, and the way you rename columns here in Polars is the same as in Pandas. So you give it the old column name, colon, and then the new column name, and so on. These two last columns were too long, so we just had to trim them down. And then here we are just viewing the first 5 rows, and this is what we are seeing here. We could also view the last 5 rows, so we can say print. Then we are saying hospital dot tail. If we don't do it like we just call it, it's just going to give us 5 by default. And we see these are the nulls that we got when we convert these columns to integers. So now we want to see the distribution of star ratings or stars by state. And so we will see them by state because we're just going to get a count to see which states have the highest counts of 5 stars, 4 stars, and so on. And then we can also pull out. So I'm in Kentucky. I can pull out, or later on we'll pull out Kentucky, and then we see the hospitals that are or have 5 stars and 4 stars. Maybe we will just say 3 or more stars. Excuse me. So here we will just say like this. So let's say hospital. And we will say group by, and we will group by state. And then we will say aggregate, let's say total equal to, here we will call the pull out a column, and the column we will pull out is where we have the star rating. Thing is called overall rating. If we want to see it, then what we can do is we can come out down here and we can say, okay, hospital quality, and it's the second one. Then we can say columns, then run it. There are all these columns, and yeah, it's hospital underscore overall rating. And we bring it here. Actually, we need to group it by, We also need to group it by this, by star rating, so that we see the counts by state and then 5, 4, and so on. Because what we are getting is the frequency of hospitals. So how many hospitals was in Kentucky have 5 stars, 4 stars, and so on. And then on this column, we are going to call count. And let's run it and see if it's going to work. Okay. 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 Yes, we have not converted the star rating to integers. So for that reason, we are going to go back up here. We will come back up here and we will come here. Where is it? It's here. So we don't want to include it there. We are going to, or yeah, let's bring it down here, and we will say p dot call. We will cast this to integer pl dot int 64 and string. We will set it to false. Okay, let's run that. Let's see it. Then now let's come back here. Try this. Okay. So we have the states here. We have the count. So Florida has 32 hospitals with 4 stars. Connecticut has 2 hospitals with 3 stars. New Jersey has 16 hospitals with 3 stars, and so on. What we will do, we will exclude the null values. So we will first say here dot filter, and this here we don't want it to be null. Dot is not null. Now let's do that. Okay, now we don't, that's not a null now. And so California has 66 hospitals with 4 stars. What we will do, we will sort it. Let's sort this here. First, we will sort it by just stars. And we want it in descending order because we want to see 5 and descending through. Okay, so now we also want, so instead of just doing it by that, we will also sort it by total. And we will also add another. Okay, so this is actually working. Okay, so California has 36 hospitals with 5 stars. Texas has 29 hospitals with 5 stars. Pennsylvania has 22 hospitals with 5 stars. And then Ohio has 20. I think this is Wisconsin, as 18 hospitals with 5 stars. And so what we can do, let's call these stars, and we will print it so that it prints well. Okay. Now let me pull out. I'm gonna pull out just, let's say, dot filter pl dot state. I want to see Kentucky. Is exactly k y. So we have five hospitals with 5 stars. We have 9 hospitals with 17 stars. 9 hospitals with 4 stars, and 17 hospitals with 3 stars, 14 hospitals with 2 stars, and 12 hospitals with 1 star. Okay. What about Tennessee? Because I was just in Tennessee. Tennessee has 5 hospitals with 5 stars. What about Texas? Because I was one time in Texas. I was in Texas for about 8 years. Texas has 29 hospitals with 5 stars and 56 hospitals with 4 stars and 64 hospitals with 3 stars. Just 6 hospitals with 1 star. Okay, so this is how you summarize the data by grouping it by given number of columns, and then the way you do summarization, unlike the deploy or where we do summarized, here we do add or aggregation function, just like in pandas, and that's how you summarize it. So here we are using the count because we want the frequency. We could not use like sum or any other method there because it's not applicable. If you are just looking at a numeric column, here we cannot add stars because the stars are just categories. So it's CMS breaks or categorize hospitals into 5 stars based on the number of measures. There are 5 measures. Out of those actual domains, in each of those 5 domains, which are mortality, readmission, safety of care, patient experience, and timely and effective care. Out of those 5 domains, in each domain, a hospital have to meet at least 3 measures in each domain, and 3 domains of which one of them has to be either mortality or safety of care. So 3 domains, that is going to put you in a group of 3, group of 4, group of 5, and then they do they do clustering using k-means clustering method to come up with the stars. Okay, so let's come down here. I'll take this one here, and I want to pull out hospitals in Kentucky. I want to see those hospitals that are showing or that have 5 stars, which are those? So we're gonna say PL dot star. This is exactly KY. So let's do this. Okay. And then we will select, we want to select a state. We want to select hospital. And we want to select the star rating column. Okay, so just 3. And again, so this is this, and we will say and PL dot is not null. Oops. Cannot find KY. Okay. We're sure. Okay. It's because I was telling the filter method to give me rows where the state is exactly Kentucky. And then I was saying, and the star rating column is not null. And that did not work. So I think the reason it did not work, let's try this. Okay, now, yeah, this is why it did not work. In order for this to work, you have to wrap each condition inside parentheses. So I had to wrap this one and then wrap this second condition in its own parentheses. And now it has worked. So we see here, and I will sort this one by star rating, because my goal is to see, maybe we will say, let's come back up here. So we have used and in the filter here. Maybe we just want to say, maybe we say and, let's say and this here, or instead of saying it's not null, we can say, because I want to do like this, we can say this is greater than or equal to 3. Let's see. Yeah. Now, we are only interested in those hospitals that have achieved at least 3 stars. So let me reformat this line. And then now we want to sort it in descending order by stars. So true. Okay. Meadowview Regional Medical Center. as 5 stars, St. Elizabeth, Edgewood as 5 stars, Bourbon Community Hospitals. So these are, I think, Meadowview Regional Medical Center and Bourbon Community Hospital. These are Life Point hospitals. Lexington VA Medical Center, 5 stars. Baptist Health Paducah, 5 stars. Okay, so there are 31 hospitals with at least 5 stars or 3 stars and greater or greater. Yeah, or greater. Maybe let's just say greater than 4 stars, because we just want to say exactly 5 stars. So there are only 5 hospitals with 5 stars. What about 4 stars? Let's say exactly 4 stars. There are 9 hospitals with 4 stars. So let's see: King's Daughters Medical Center, St. Joseph, London, Springview Hospital, St. Elizabeth, Florence, Baptist Health, Richmond, Louisville VA Medical Center, Baptist Lexington, LaGrange. What about, I'm looking for my hospital in here. Okay, so let's say, what about exactly 3 stars? So there are more of these, 17 of them. And I'm looking for my hospital. Probably gonna say Baptist. Maybe it's the one saying Louisville here, but it's Middletown. So maybe we bring in, instead of just selecting the state, we can also select the city. So let's see. Maybe we want the city. I think we did not include the city in here. Okay, yeah. But this is how you would check to see your hospital, or how your hospital ranks among the hospitals in the US and also within your state, even within your city. But our main objective here is just showing you how to perform this kind of analysis with the Polish package. So we are not more interested in the analysis themselves, although this is a great information, but rather we are more interested in how to do this using Python or Polish Python package.